I'm Janine Schultz with FM News 101.1. We're here with Kids These Days, it's a Chicago-based band. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Now, it's been obviously well documented, how young you guys are, and I guess, do those comparisons bother you? Is it a big deal when people kind of bring up your age? Because you all are under 20 years old. You can't even get into some of the bars you play if you weren't playing there. So I guess, kind of what's the thought?
I mean, a lot of times when we show up to shows and to venues, people are kind of like a-holes to us just because they think we're like little kids and they're like, why are you guys here? But like after the show, after they hear the music, it's always like a mutual feeling, like we all kind of click afterwards once they see that we can actually play better than them.
And I guess in your experience of playing since you've been together, have you experienced kids your age or even younger kind of looking up to you as role models and coming up and saying, what do they say to you, or do they say, like, how can I be? Because you guys are fantastic. I mean, it's really, when you see you, it does not seem like you're so young. I mean, it's kind of amazing.
That, to me, is just one of the many blessings that we have, Like, everything we concentrate on and focus on is the music. So anybody who's moved and feels something more, then that's a beautiful thing. That's something we can't really control,
And I guess you guys played Lollapalooza. How was the Lollapalooza experience for you? Because I know you last year tried to sneak into Lollapalooza and had some injuries involved, and this year you're playing on the stage. What was that like?
It was just an amazing feeling, just to be there after obviously all the stuff from last year. So just to be on that stage instead of being in the hospital was like a triumphant moment for myself and pretty much all of my friends, It's like save money, still alive.
And I guess obviously it's not the pinnacle of what you plan on doing. I guess, where do you go? You played Lollapalooza. Where do you go from here, Liam?
For us, the next step is just working, and we just are working all the time, and really sort of coming together, getting our sound really solid as a band. First and foremost is always the music, so that's what we are really working on at this time right now. We also really we want to play some more shows, get better at shows. It's all connected, So it's just more of everything that we've been doing, and I guess eventually the next step is to start working on a record, or maybe hopefully develop a tour in the future.
And I guess, how does being from Chicago and living in Chicago affect the band or affect the music that you write?
Everything. Chicago is everything for us. Like, without Chicago, we wouldn't be together. Without Chicago, we wouldn't have grown up the way we did. We wouldn't have had the musical influences that we do now. It's like all this is owed back to our city. This is how we started. It's where we're from. It's where we're going to stay.
And speaking of influences, you have a lot of varied influences, jazz and hip hop and rock, and kind of, you wouldn't necessarily think, and maybe it's a stereotype, that kids, your age would really kind of gravitate toward that music. And I guess, what pulls you to that sound, and why?
I'll let Lane hold this one down.
I mean, as far as our sound goes, it's kind of like you'd think that we would have put a lot of thought into it and really like sat down and laid out everything that we think would happen with our music, but I'm gonna be straight up honest with you, it kind of just happens. And to me, but that's the beauty of it. Like, if it was planned, I highly doubt it would come out sounding the same way. So it's like we'll be in Liam's basement for hours and hours just messing around and goofing around and having fun, and somehow, by some act of nature or some sort of force of God, something cool happens, and this music emerges. So it's really just out of the water. It's really just a lot of fun, and we just jam out and just be ourselves. The most important thing is just that we be ourselves, and that's kind of how it happens.
Also, another thing I think this would go for a lot of us, but our parents have also really been a big help in exposing us to the music that we listen to. Macy's mother's a jazz and sort of all-around piano player. Nico's father plays a lot of music and exposed him to a lot of Latin music when he was younger. Huh?
Nico's dad put me on.
Yeah, Nico's dad helped everyone out. Greg's father is an amazing guitar player. So I also think and for me too, like, my parents have definitely helped me with the music that I've been exposed to. I think I'd speak for a lot of the guys in the band as well.
And now, Macy, you're the only. Don't be nervous. You're the only girl in the band with all of these boys. I guess how did that kind of come about, and what's that like being the only female member of this band? Because it seems like you guys are a tight knit group, but also an interesting bunch with a lot of varying personalities. So how do you keep everyone in check?
Yeah, I'm the bully. No, I'm not really the bully, but they pick on me sometimes, but really it's a lot of fun. They're all like my brothers. I know at the beginning it was kind of weird because I was the only girl, going into Liam's house. I didn't really know any of them, and I was definitely really nervous, but it's turned out to be a really awesome thing.
Yeah.
And I guess what is your favorite part of performing? Why? I mean, because obviously, you're 19, 20. We've obviously talked about that, but this is, a career. This is obviously, I have to assume, something you want to do for the long term, not just a little project, to have fun right now. And I guess, what are the long-term plans for your life?
I just love playing music and playing the trumpet. Like, honestly, the most fun part of playing music is playing music. You know what I mean? Like, it's just everything about it. Writing the music is one of the most amazing experiences in the world because we just jam it out and make cold music. But like playing on stage where people are like moving to what you're doing and stuff, like that's an amazing feeling. I mean, anybody else have anything to add to that?
I guess, are there plans? What are the plans for a record? You have an EP out, but what about a full-length album?
We got a project coming. It's called Trap House Rock. I guess it basically like tributes a lot of different songs from a lot of different genres from a lot of different eras. But it's less of, I mean, it's not a cover album at all. It's like live sampling, the same way that like Kanye West or No ID would chop up a sample and make something completely new out of it. Is what we're doing to these songs. We're taking that signifying like horn line or distinct progression from a joint and making it into a completely new song. So we're just sampling a bunch of joints, and it hasn't really been done before. It's called that Trap House Rock. If you're watching this, don't bite it, because we'll find you and Save Money Still Alive in Chicago Don't Play.
Great, and we've been sitting here with Kids These Days. They're going to be playing the Hideout Block Party on September 24th. You can catch them there. This has been Janine Schultz with FM News 101.1.
KTD boy.